This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of September 18th, 2023. Things are going to feel like they're starting to move this week. All of the inner planets are direct. Mercury is just barely scooching out of his direct station after ending his retrograde on September 15th. We're coming off the Virgo new moon, which invited taking the data and experiences of the Mercury retrograde and parlaying them into radically new, streamlined, unusual for each of us ways of going about actually running our lives on a daily basis. And this week, the focus is on each of us and how we're going to proceed after those experiences. You may get a really good long look at ways that you fooled yourself, at lying and deception and gaslighting that's been floating around in your world or in the world. And in a more positive bent, distance and objectivity on some creative ideas that you have been contemplating. That comes when the Sun makes an opposition to Neptune on the 19th at the same time that your drive and motivation to get going already mushrooms to the point that you find yourself having to shift the way you're going about something. Wild course corrections, wide course corrections, huge adjustments in either what you're thinking you want to go after or how you're going about it when Mars makes an inconjunct to Jupiter on the 19th. And since Jupiter is in Taurus, Venus territory, and very, very caught up with resources and money, it may well be that you take the cost of something into account and alter what you're doing as a consequence. On the other hand, you might just throw caution to the wind and go wildly overboard. Both are possible. Whichever way you decide to go, watch for focus to kick in like crazy by the 21st, which is not, by the way, when the equinox happens this month. That's not till the 23rd. But before then, on the 21st, the Sun is in a trine to Pluto, Pluto hanging out at the end of Capricorn. I have been mentioning for weeks now that every time a planet changes signs, it has a conversation with Pluto. So since the Sun is in the sign of Virgo, it's having a harmonious, easily flowing conversation with the Lord of death and regeneration. And it's easy with this to get very clear about your own power. Power not being slamming your fist on the table and screaming that you want something, but power being knowing who you are, knowing your truth, and standing firmly in that with confidence. And since the Sun is in Virgo, where we just had a new moon, where the ruler of Virgo, Mercury, has just had a long retrograde, this conversation may make it easy, natural, and organic to cut something out of your life that really isn't important to you or that doesn't support healthy habits, healthy boundaries, healthy choices, or otherwise isn't in keeping with everything that you have now set up and reorganized for your life. And then at last comes the equinox on the 23rd, when the Sun moves into the sign of Libra. This is a halfway point between the solstices, hence equinox. Got it? Equal night. Starting autumn or fall in the northern hemisphere, spring in the southern hemisphere. The Sun is now moving into the turf of Venus, ruler of Libra, ruler of relationships, ruler of all that we value, and it's heading ever so slowly toward the first of October's two eclipses being a solar eclipse at the new moon in Libra. Coincidentally, the second eclipse in October at the end of the month at the full moon in Taurus is also ruled by Venus. So the sun's moving into the command of Venus is starting the build-up to much that will happen in October. The energies of this week are written into, wired into the equinox chart, and will continue to play out as a background program for the next 3 months. And the specifics that are important to keep in mind are that Sun-Neptune opposition at the beginning of the week, getting distance on gaslighting, confusion, deception, creativity, and also streamlining your concept of yourself, whatever the Sun-Pluto trine means for you. Granted, the Sun has moved away from that trine as it moves into Libra, but it's still resonating with the streamlining and focus and intensification that comes with that contact. And the first order of business for this new season is another adjustment, another tweak. This one comes from an inconjunct between the Sun and Saturn. Taking responsibility for yourself may require you to change a bit about how you're presenting yourself. This could be an adjustment required by committing to yourself or being responsible to yourself, or since Saturn is in the all-connecting sign of Pisces, responsibilities to, obligations to the world at large, other people, may require some personal adjustments. This week carries the potential for more forward movement than we've been experiencing lately. It likely does not have the information fire hose quality of last week, and it's not as hectic as life is soon going to be. So work with it and take advantage of these aspects to get your life in a condition that you can just run with. Homing thought of the week: adopt, adapt, and improve. Bonus points to anyone who knows the reference. Song of the week, Getting Older by Billie Eilish. And the image of the week is a detour that leads to a narrow path. You'll learn more about all of this in my forecast for the month of September, which is up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and book a session with me. And also get my talk on the Aries-Libra eclipses called Out of My Way. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. This week, my guest is Armand Diaz, whom many of you will recognize from his presence online. And we're going to talk about his integral astrology approach and how astrological practice has evolved during our careers. I also host lively conversation on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited in the group The Astro-Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, including an analysis of the equinox chart. And I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I'm on Instagram and Threads at @KA Biehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel. Talk to you next week.